Imagine you're on a battlefield, dust choking the air, arrows falling like rain, horses screaming. You pull your bow back, take aim, and fire. Your arrow hits its mark. Not just any man, you just shot Genghis Khan off his horse. Now imagine what happens next. You're captured, dragged before him, and instead of being executed, he asks you one question. Was it you? And when you say yes, he doesn't kill you, he promotes you. This is not a legend. This is one of the most revealing moments in the rise of the Mongol Empire. Because this story isn't just about mercy, it's about how one decision helped build the most unstoppable war machine in history. And it reveals something most people completely misunderstand about Genghis Khan. He didn't just conquer with fear, he conquered with judgment. Before he was Genghis Khan, before the empire, before the legend, he was just Temujin, a boy born into a harsh, unforgiving world, the Mongolian steppe. Out here, survival wasn't guaranteed. Tribes fought constantly, loyalty was fragile, betrayal was common. And Temujin knew that better than most. His father was poisoned, his family was abandoned. He grew up starving, hunted, alone. So he learned early, trust no one blindly, but recognize value when you see it. Because in a world like this, the difference between ruling and dying was the people you chose to stand beside you. As Temujin grew older, he began doing something unusual. Instead of only promoting nobles or family, he rewarded loyalty and ability. A former enemy, if they proved themselves, he'd use them. A low-born warrior, if they were skilled, they could rise. This was radical. Most leaders ruled through bloodlines and status. Temujin ruled through merit. And that idea would change everything. Now we arrive at the moment. Temujin is fighting against a rival tribe. The battlefield is chaos. Horses charging, arrows flying, men shouting over the wind. And then, an enemy warrior draws his bow. He sees Temujin. He doesn't hesitate. He fires. The arrow strikes Temujin's horse, and the great leader crashes to the ground. For a moment, everything freezes. Because on that battlefield, that arrow could have changed history. But Temujin survives. The battle turns. His forces win. And afterward, prisoners are brought before him. Among them is the man who fired the arrow. Now think about this moment. This is not just any prisoner. This is the man who nearly killed him. The man who could have ended everything. In most armies, this would be simple. Execution. Brutal. Immediate. But Temujin does something different. He looks at the prisoners and asks, "Who shot my horse?" Silence. No one speaks, because everyone knows what the answer means. Death. But then one man steps forward. He doesn't lie. He doesn't deflect. He says, "I did." This is the turning point. Temujin studies him. This man didn't hide. He didn't beg. He told the truth, knowing it could cost him his life. And Temujin sees something. Not just bravery, but honesty under pressure. Skill with a bow. Courage in battle. And the kind of character that doesn't break when facing death. So instead of ordering his execution, Temujin does something almost unthinkable. He says, "If you can strike a man like me from horseback, you are too valuable to waste." And he spares him. Not just that, he brings him into his ranks. That man would later be known as Jebe, and he wouldn't just become a soldier. He would become one of the greatest generals in the Mongol Empire. A man trusted with massive campaigns, a commander who helped shape the expansion of one of the largest empires in history. Let that sink in. A single decision on a battlefield turned an enemy into a weapon. Most people think the Mongols conquered through sheer brutality. And yes, they were devastating, but that's only half the story. What made them unstoppable was how they chose people. Genghis Khan didn't care where you came from. He cared about three things: skill, loyalty, and honesty. If you had those, you had a place, even if you once tried to kill him. Think about the message this sends to his enemies. Even if you fight against me, even if you fail, if you prove your worth, you might not die. You might rise. That changes how people think. Suddenly, surrender isn't just survival, it's opportunity. And that's powerful. Because instead of destroying every enemy, Genghis Khan was absorbing them, turning resistance into strength. This approach created something no other empire had, a military filled with former enemies, elite warriors from conquered tribes, and generals chosen for ability, not birth. It was flexible, adaptive, and ruthlessly efficient. And leaders like Jebe weren't just symbols. They were proof that in this empire, Merit mattered more than anything else. Jebe would go on to lead campaigns thousands of kilometers away from the Mongolian steppe. He fought in Central Asia, pushed into unfamiliar lands, and helped expand Mongol power far beyond what anyone thought possible. He wasn't just loyal, he was effective, the kind of general every ruler wants, but almost none know how to recognize. Except Genghis Khan did, because he saw him not as an enemy, but as potential. Now compare this to other rulers of the time. Kings who executed prisoners out of fear, leaders who trusted only their inner circle. They kept power tight, controlled, predictable. But Genghis Khan did the opposite. He opened the door carefully, strategically, and because of that, his army didn't just grow, it evolved. And there's another layer to this. Imagine being a soldier in his army. You know that your past doesn't define you, your skill can elevate you, and even your enemies could become allies. That creates something rare, belief. Not just fear of punishment, but belief in opportunity. And belief is far more powerful than fear alone. All of that traces back to a single moment, a battlefield, an arrow, a question. Was it you? And a man brave enough to say, yes. History often focuses on the big moments, the wars, the conquests, the empires, but sometimes everything changes because of a decision so small it almost goes unnoticed. A choice between execution and opportunity, between revenge and vision. Genghis Khan didn't just build an empire through force, he built it through judgment. And in that moment, he didn't just spare a man's life, he reshaped the future. Because the man who tried to kill him didn't just survive, he became one of the reasons no one else could. If you enjoy stories like this, where history isn't just facts but human choices, where the past feels less distant and more like a mirror, then there are many more stories waiting to be uncovered. Because the past doesn't just tell us what happened, it shows us what's possible.